Hey kindergarten families, today's video is about assisting your child with identifying and writing numbers 0 through 20. First, I'll start off with our number rhymes, which is something I teach your students when I initially introduce the numbers 0 through 9. When practicing at home, you could have your child write the numbers out on a dry erase board like I'm using, with crayons, markers, whatever's fun. So I'll say each number rhyme twice so you get familiar with it. Okay, for 0, it's around we go, that's a 0. Around we go, that's a 0. Then 1 is straight line down, 1 is fun. Straight line down, 1 is fun. 2 is around and back, across the train track. Around and back, across the train track. 3 is around the tree, around the tree. That's how you make a 3. Around the tree, around the tree. That's how you make a 3. 4 is down then over, lift up, down some more. That's how you make a 4. Down then over, down some more. That's how you make a 4. 5 is skinny then fat, put on a hat. Skinny then fat, put on a hat. 6 is monkey tail needs a fix. Come on, let's write a 6. Monkey tail needs a fix. Come on, let's write a 6. 7 is across the sky, down from heaven. That's how you make a 7. Across the sky, down from heaven. That's how you make a 7. 8 is make an S, but don't wait. Go back up and make an 8. Make an S, but don't wait. Go back up and make an 8. And last but not least, 9 is circle and a line. That makes a 9. Circle and a line. That makes a 9. So encouraging your child to say these rhymes will not only help them remember how to write them correctly, but hopefully will help them begin identifying the numbers with the silly rhymes. Another way to help your child at home if they're struggling with numbers is to add some dots to the flashcards. So what I do is I use a counting tool called 10 frames. This is what you'll see here, which basically it's a box with 2 rows going across 5 boxes in each row. And it just encourages the children to be able to skip count more quickly. So basically all you have to do is, add these dots with a marker. So 5 across and 3 on the bottom for 8. So you could have them either just count 1 on 1 to figure out what the number is. So going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or having them skip count by going like this. 5, 6, 7, 8, which is something I teach them to do in class. Same with 7. They could do the same thing. If they don't know what this number is, instead of just giving them the answer, have them count the dots. So I'm going to go 5, 6, 7, if they're able to understand the skip counting strategy. You can do the same thing with the teen numbers as well. So the only difference would be to have them skip count or count on from 10. So, teach them that there's 10 in the whole 10 frame, 10 circles, and then count the 1 on the bottom. So they would go like this. They'd say 10, 11, 10, 11. But if they're having trouble understanding that, of course, you could have them count each one individually. And then 12, same idea. You go 10, have them circle the group of 10, 11, 12. And here's what 16 would look like. So again, making sure that you have 5 across on each row when they're counting. My final tip would be, especially with the tricky teen numbers, would be to sit down and kind of talk about the patterns that you see in teen numbers. So even just writing them all out like this with your kiddo. And first I would say, okay, well notice, underline the first number that's on the left and say, okay, look at each of these begins with a 1. And you could even encourage them after you do a few to underline that, the first number that teen numbers start with is a 1 in each of them. And then you could have them look at the second number. And then what I would do is I'd say, okay, circle it and say, okay, here I see a 0. In 11, I see a 1. 12, I see a 2. 13, I see a 3. 14, I'd see a 4. And stop right there and say, look at the second number that I circled and count and say the numbers out loud to them. So say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, it's like we're using a counting order. So then they kind of see the pattern in these numbers as they're counting on for 16, 17, 18, and 19. And for the numbers 14 through 19 in particular, when you say 14, you hear the 4 hiding in there. So you would remind your kiddo that when they're writing a teen, that they're always going to write 1 first, and then the number that they hear in the word for the number. So like 14. You don't hear 5 and 15, of course, but fifth kind of sounds like 5. It will start with an F. So 15, 6, and 16. So kind of to helping them using that strategy as well. Hope these tips and tricks are helpful.